What is up, y'all? It is TruthTiger, and today I'm going to tell y'all a very special message. Don't worry about what happened in the past. Worry about the future. Don't be worrying about the past too much, ruminating on the past too much. Think about now. Think about what you can do now, present and future. Because don't worry about fixing the past, because a lot of stuff in the past that happened, we had people treat us wrong, we had the wrong situations happen, things with our families were not right, and there's a lot of stuff in the past that's just broken. And it's like we have this temptation to ruminate on the past too much, to think about how things could have been different, how things should have been different, and to think about what we should have had, because a lot of the stuff that happened to us in the past should not have happened. They were broken situations, unideal situations. We did not get the right kind of parental love that we needed. Our friends were not doing the right stuff with us. Our romantic relationships were not in the right places a lot of the times. And even, for me myself, there's some wrong choices I made myself, and it's easy to kind of think back on the past and think think about a conflict that happened. It's like, I could have cut the green wire instead of the red wire, but I cut the red wire and this person exploded, or just all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff I think about that I could have done different. And I think a lot about stuff that other people could have done different. I think about a lot of people who treated me weird. Why do they treat me all weird? Why were they so manipulative? Why do they go so far out of their way to trip me up? Why do they do that? And it's you don't want to think about that why too much. You want to think about it a little bit. You don't want to block it out or repress it, but you do not want to stay fixated on that stuff. You don't want to stay fixated on the BS of the past. Staying fixated on the past is going to keep you back there. You want to think about the future, think about the present, think about what you can do now to make your life better, think about what you can do now to make things better. A lot of times I would think why did I not see the red flags? But back then I didn't know about all the stuff I know now. I didn't know about toxic people. I did not know about narcissists. So I'll think back on a lot of situations. I think, why did I get to see? Why did I not see the red flags? But I just realized what happened. I'm here now. That BS was that BS. And I'm here. And, I can't be tripping too much about the past like that. I really can't. Tripping about other people's actions and the things they did. And why do they do that? Why do they treat me that way? It's because they're bad people. The world's a broken world. And a lot of times the ideal things don't happen. A lot of times, unideal things come into being. Unideal things become made manifest. Broken relationships, broken families, broken situations. Things end up being very imperfect, very messed up. It's the way things are. And I really think there's a lot I missed out on. A lot of my best years were taken from me by my own family, by bad friends, bad situations. And I did not get the love I needed, the respect I needed. I did not get those things I needed. And I didn't get myself to the place in life where I wanted to be. I'd rather be further ahead in life than I am now, but there's things I'm behind on. It is what it is. It's part of the experience. I can't change the past. I can't fix the past. And even so, even if you did do all the perfect stuff in the past and you cut the green wire instead of the red wire and you handled every situation perfectly and always turned the other cheek and you saw every red flag and you sidestepped everything, even then it's you still, there's some stuff that's not fixable. There's a lot of people in situations that are not fixable. Even if you do everything perfect, you're not going to fix these people. You're not going to fix these situations. A lot of it is just broken and not fixable, and it's not going to be repaired. And all you can really do is walk away. Really. And I think back on a lot of people, and it's man, if that person was not such a narcissistic weirdo and they were not so manipulative, maybe they could have been a friend. I think about that a lot too. And I'm but I just realized that was not what they chose. That was not the reality of the situation. That was not what was going to happen. So that did not happen. And now those people are out of my life. What can I do? What can I do? And when it comes to some of my own mistakes and some of the stuff I screwed up on, it's like, whatever, I did that. It's not great, but I'm not going to live a life of guilt and shame. I'm just going to learn my lesson, realize, okay, I should have did that differently. And I'm not going to stay in this place of shame and guilt and, because that's what people do. It's like, man, people will drag you over the coals and will really be tripping out of it. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And don't be worrying about the past too much. In the end of the day, the past is gone. It's water under the bridge. It's done. Don't be tripping too much about it. There's a lot of wounds. There's a lot of wounds from the past that we carry. There's a lot of wounds and pain and hurt from the past that we are carrying forward now. We have to think of, instead of thinking about the past and how the past could have been different, people could have treated us different, whatever, it's best to think about, how do I heal from this? How do I move forward? How do I repair this? What can I look toward for tomorrow? Rather than just looking at the past again. Sometimes you got to look at the past. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but just rather than being all fixated on the past, think about, what can I build for the future? How can I make things better for myself in the future? What can I learn from the past? How can I build and grow off of this stuff that's happened? And really, you can turn it into a positive. You can make a positive out of it. You can use this stuff like a slingshot. It pulls you back, but then boom, it snaps and it throws you forward. You can use it like that, the slingshot being all the lessons that you've learned from that stuff, having to go through BS so you could be refined and become the best version of yourself. Your ego can get pounded out of you, all the, whatever, just all the wrong ideas about stuff gets pounded out. And just all the confusion gets pounded out. You learn who you really are, what's really going on, what's really important from this suffering, This suffering, it can either kill your ego, kill your self-doubt, get you closer to God, get you in a better state, or this suffering can make you worse, and it can make you miserable, and it can make you just like, all you do is just keep reliving it. I've done both of those things. I have learned my lesson and learned lessons and, became made humble. And a lot of it's the book of Job too. A lot of it's just like, you got to get on your cross and go through some crap. There's times I've gleaned positivity from it, and there's times where I've stayed in misery and I've been doom and gloom and miserable about it. I've done both, but I'm really trying to do the former, not the latter. I'm trying to just learn what I can from this stuff, grow from it as best that I can, and focus on, what are my new plans? What are my new moves? What am I trying to do to move forward, to make my life better, to be the best person I can be, to do the will of God, to have good morals and ethics, to love my fellow? What am I doing now to move into that? What am I doing now to step into that? Because it's so easy to just be looking at the past on repeat, on loop, over and over again, thinking about the same things over and over again, reminiscing on childhood over and over again. And we need to think about these things so we can heal, we can make sense of them, we can accept them, we can do a review and look back on the bad things that have happened and accept that it was a bad thing. A lot of times we're gaslit into thinking that this stuff is good or normal or okay. It's not. We're gaslit into thinking that people playing weird games with us, being overly critical, overly disrespectful, being so zoomed in on our every move, and then not being there for us when we need them most, not offering words of encouragement, sowing seeds of doubt, all these things these people do, talking crap about us, gossiping. We think it's normal. We think it's okay on some level. And we think it's like we deserve to be treated like that. We did not. We did not at all. All that stuff people did to us, it was a bunch of freaking crap. It was a bunch of games. It was a bunch of manipulation. They were on a big ego trip. And for our own parents and stuff, they were not trying to do their job and like raise us. They wanted to do as little as possible. They didn't want to have to go through the effort to have us do well. And you know, a lot of people try to sabotage us. They're jealous of us. They don't want to see us get ahead. You know, they're jealous of what we have. They're jealous of our happiness. They're jealous of our joy. They're jealous of the truth that we have, our love and our light and stuff like that. And they try to do all this weird stuff to us. So, you know, it's important to review over this stuff to realize, like, hey, that was not okay. That was the wrong way to treat me. I did not deserve this. This was not okay. Because sometimes you'll talk about these things to the wrong people. Those people are narcissists themselves, or enablers, or toxic, or whatever. They're on some bad stuff. And you'll tell them about this stuff, and they'll be like, oh, well, your parents were right to yell at you that one time. Oh, they were right to forget about your birthday. Oh, your ex who, you know, lied about stuff. Oh, he/she was right to do that. No. You'll hear a lot of people who are not even connected to this stuff make excuses for these narcissists. And the thing is, when you're not fully confident and you're not like having full self-esteem in the things you're saying, and they can sense that little crack, they can sense that little bit of weakness, they're going to go for the jugular and try to shove your head under the water and try to make you live a life of doubt and try to make you doubt the things that happened to you. And if you talk to the people who were your ABUSCIER, if you talk to the people who did this stuff to you, they're really going to say it never happened and it wasn't a big deal and actually you deserved it. And they're really going to gaslight and say that. So don't bring this to the people that did this to you, and be careful with who you talk about your past traumas with. You know, be careful, because a lot of people will say that you deserve this. And especially if you're coming at it from a place of low confidence and you're not really sure what's going on, and you're not really fully standing up for yourself. You're not really fully aware that this is bad. You're just like trying to talk to someone about it for clarity. A lot of times these kind of people, they will take the side, they'll like be against you. They'll talk about how it wasn't a big deal. They'll talk about how, a lot of them I've even heard say that you imagined it. It didn't even happen. I've literally heard that one in my life, that I imagined something. I'm like, no, I did not imagine that. You know? But really, the gaslighting and the stuff people will try to do to make you doubt yourself, it's freaking stupid. It's freaking stupid. So just be careful about who you talk to this stuff about. You know, like, have your own sense of truth. Have your own sense of truth and your own sense of where you know what happened. Because they'll try to get in there and kind of make you go crazy and try to make you doubt things and try to say stuff didn't happen. Or one thing they love is, oh, you're taking it out of context. I didn't really mean it like that. Or all I said was, you know, that's all I said. You're adding in details. I've heard that one before, and it's like, no, you're not, you know. Man, it's just like, it's really crazy, you know, because I've had people, they'll get really weird and they'll be very bossy and they'll be like, come here at this time, bring your binder, bring your pen. And I've had people like that, like, as someone I thought was a friend, they're talking to me, be there exactly 4 o'clock, not a minute late. And they're talking to me like that, and I'm like, hey, yo, like, the way you're rolling with me is not cool. You're being too bossy. And then, no, I'm not. I didn't really mean it. All I said was this, but like, don't listen to that stuff. Like, do not listen to their gaslighting or their freaking games that these people play. It's ridiculousness. They're going to say that type of stuff. They are. So yeah, like, when it comes to all that stuff in the past, and when it comes to the way people will talk about it, just talk about it to the right people. Watch videos like this. Just try to meditate on it, think on it, and to try to get past it. Because here's the thing, if you're not really fully past it, you will bring this stuff up to people in conversation. You will still, whatever, you will still be finding people trying to suck you in with this kind of stuff. Man, you will still be like dealing with that vibe. And thing is, just say no. And when you're in the here and now, you got people trying to do this stuff to you, say no. Nah, not interested, not gonna do it, not gonna hang out with you. Nah, not my vibe, not my scene, you know? And just think about what you can do in the future, because all this stuff in the past, it caused a lot of pain, it caused a lot of hurt, it caused a lot of suffering. Sorry, I got a little off track with the gaslighting. I just kind of went on a good roll there and started talking about it. But it all ties in. It all ties in and it all connects, because this stuff is all connected. And a lot of the ways people caused us pain in the past was by gaslighting and manipulating and telling us that bad treatment is okay, and that their drama and their manipulation and their games are okay and normal, and you should just be okay with it. And you shouldn't at all. But yeah, think about the future. Think about what you can do in the future. Think about how you can make your future better. Part of that is blocking out manipulators, blocking out people who are trying to be all bossy with you, blocking out people who are not respectful to you. That's a big part of it, is saying no to those people and saying yes to good people, cool people, respectful people, people who are decent. You got to sort through, because most people are toxic. So you got to sort through, find the decent people who are, about 1 in 10, talk to them, hang out with them, befriend them, and don't befriend these toxic hater people, And then beyond that, think about your life, who you are, who you want to be, what you want to do. Do you want to travel? Do you want to do art? Do you want to get a better job? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to have a good relationship? Start to think about these things in a positive light. Start to think about these things and envision these things. Because if you're too focused on the negative and on the pain of the past, and you're too hurt, and you're too much in pain, and it's all you can think about, it's going to be hard to accept and to have an open heart to accept good new things. And you're not going to be able to think about, plan, and envision good new things. You got to come up with something as a plan in your mind first before executing it most of the time. So you're not going to be able to think of good ideas. Your mind's not going to be in a good state. And you're not going to be moving in a good state. You're not going to have the right ideas. You're not going to be open. You're not going to be creative if you're just so in a mindset of misery and in a mindset of the pain of the past, So once you can get your mindset good, get your heart good, to where you can be open to receive new things, you could think about and envision new things, you can have confidence and self-belief that you can achieve new things and good things you never thought possible before, but where you have the confidence and the belief within yourself, where you can do it. You can make it happen. And a lot of it's just clearing out the doubters, the haters. You don't have all those people up in your business anymore. You don't have all those people influencing you anymore. Now it's you got God, you got a healthy mind, maybe a good friend, and you're rolling. You're moving forward. You can finally do stuff. You're not trapped around all these freaking people. And the thing is, that stuff in the past, it's done, it's over, it's closed, it's locked, it's sealed, it's behind you, and just walk forward. You don't want to look back too much. When Lot's wife looked back on Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed by the Lord, Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. So if you're looking back on all that stuff too much, it can freeze you. It can freeze you up. You don't want to be looking back on it too much. It can get you stuck, and it can keep you back there and down there and back in that. If you're looking back on it too much, if you're thinking about it too much, you're going to think about it sometimes. I'm not saying you won't. Things are going to come up too, like traumas and whatever, you're all of a sudden experiencing a trauma you had in the past. It's just kind of coming up out of nowhere or something. You got to experience it. You got to feel it. You got to release it. You got to let it go. You can't block it out. But my point is just don't be reminiscing on it too much. Don't be thinking on it too much. Don't be wallowing on it. Don't be wallowing on this stuff of the past too much. It's a bunch of bullcrap. It was unfair. It wasn't right. It was the wrong situation. Sometimes we made our own mistakes too and whatever, but you don't want to be wallowing in that, in the anger and the shame and the anxieties. You don't want to be wallowing on that, where you're so just like thinking like that in a continuous loop. It's not going to give you good results. You know, what you think about a lot will affect your reality around you. It's not one-to-one, like I had a thought and that thought manifests exactly. It's not one-to-one, but it will affect what's going to happen in your life. Just if you think about it in a basic sense. If you can think about smart ideas, and you can think positive, you can think happy, you can think innovatively, you can think creatively, that's going to give you a better life and better circumstances. But if you can't think, you know, if you're just thinking about the past all the time and thinking angry all the time and thinking guilty all the time and thinking shameful all the time, it's going to be really hard for you to make good moves. It's going to be very hard for you to learn new things and to come across new opportunities and to take on new challenges and to do the new things you got to do. So yeah, be about the new, be about the future, be about the present, but don't be so caught up on the past, because for one, it's not something you want to go back to. For most of us, I've had a few good moments in the past, sure, but for the most part, I don't want to go back to that crap. You know, it's not something I want to go back to, so why think about it too much? And, you know, number two, it's like, I want a better future, you know? I want to be happy. I want to let go of that stuff. I want to let go of all that stuff, let go of it, let it go free, so I can think about positive things for the future. And I can be in the present, not just having to relive the past over and over again, frozen in time. I don't want to be like that. I want to be looking toward the future, looking toward my goals, looking toward my ambitions, looking for new opportunities, looking for ways to grow, looking to heal, you know, all that good, positive stuff. So yeah, don't be trapped in the past. Don't be caught up in the traumas of the past. Don't be caught up in all the bad stuff of the past, the mistakes of the past, all the crap in the past. Don't be so caught up on it. Look to the future. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. God bless. Much love. I will see you all next time.